came to Paris as a panel to meet President Sarkozy and several ministers and his team to discuss the forthcoming meetings of G20 and G8. He has set up two task forces, one chaired by Tidiane Thiam to deal with infrastructure, another one on finance to be headed by Prime Minister Melis of Ethiopia, and a third one is under consideration. But we had the opportunity to raise with them what we saw as some of the priorities for Africa. We discussed the question of infrastructure, energy, and the fact that these two issues are perhaps amongst the two main blocks on African development. And if we can improve electricity and we can improve infrastructure and link up the countries on the continent, we can improve substantially trade between the African countries. Today it's around 10% compared to 67% in the EU. We also discussed water management and provision of water to rural communities and individuals. And of course, the question of financing. Question of financing in the sense that we have focused a lot about development assistance in the past. But since the financial crisis, governments have been cautious as to how much they pay. Some governments are now cutting back on their development assistance, arguing that they have needs in their own communities and societies, and they find it difficult to send money to other distant places when there are major needs in their own society. Be as it may, when we look at the development needs and we look at the requirements for sustainable development, climate change, and issues of adaptation and mitigation, we're going to need lots of extra money, additional money, to tackle all these issues. It is doubtful that these resources can come from governmental budgets alone. So there's been a debate on the need for new and innovative sources of funding. It could be tax on financial transactions. It could be, some have raised the question of tax on containers. Others have raised the issue of carbon taxes. So it could be a range of issues. But what is important is we need a solution. We need additional resources. If it cannot come from government budgets, where does it come from? And it's a solution that we will need to look at. And the President seems quite committed to this. On the governance side, we discussed the need for good governance, and in the extractive industry to ensure that companies are required to publicly publish payments they have made, to whom, to what amount, to which person, in which country, to encourage transparency. My own hope is that once the companies do that, the leaders in these countries would also publish and confirm that we've got this list, which will allow transparency and discussions within their own societies, and civil society and others will understand what is going on. And it would also make it easier to insist that the resources or the revenues that are gained from these operations should be used for the benefit of the